A big historic moment today in our democracy. The Prime Minister has gone ahead and performed a groundbreaking ceremony in the heart of the capital to mark the symbolic launch of the new Parliament building, the Central Vista, as part of the ambitious Central Vista plan. From the Sanskrit chants by the 6 priests from Srinegi Mutt in Karnataka, the Prime Minister in fact went ahead and performed the rituals around a holy pyre that was organized beneath a flower-decked marquee. The new Parliament building is the centerpiece of the 20,000 crore rupees Central Vista project to refurbish the government buildings and make over a 3-kilometer stretch between the Presidential Palace, that is the Rashtrapati Bhavan, to the iconic War Memorial India Gate. Let's discuss this in greater detail. Old versus the new. It was the old Parliament building versus the new Parliament building that is going to come up by 2022. That's the estimate. Joining me on the broadcast are Priya Sehgal and Sudesh Verma from the BJP. Priya Sehgal, let's discuss this. The structure that was built back in 1910, and it was a British architect who had gone ahead and taken the reins of this. And going from 1910s, that's the period, and it is quite a huge time period, in fact, that structure was literally collapsing because the poor infrastructure with regards to going ahead and witnessing those beetle-stained walls, definitely not a conducive place for having official meetings. In fact, the space for holding all the MPs and all the ministries in place in that tiny area is still not sufficient. So bringing about this particular structure that is going to be magnanimous, that is going to showcase the true power and showcase Indian democracy in the true light that it is something that was extremely pertinent.
Like, the main question, there are two questions. One is, do we need it, and do we need it right now? Because, we are going through a global pandemic. Our economy is at an all-time low. Is that your priority of this government? That's what is really worrying the people who are criticizing the Central Vista project. Yes, we do know the Parliament building needs a revamp. It is an old structure. But to turn it into a museum and just, work on this whole new project is something that couldn't it have waited for maybe, until maybe the economy was a bit stronger, or we had other, priorities that need to be addressed first. That is the biggest worry, really. We have the Westminster Palace that's older than the Parliament, and that's still standing. So there is also the legacy issue. Yes, you can have a museum here, but what is wrong with the old building if you refurbish it and continue with it? So it's an ambitious project. It's a very good project in the sense of getting all the ministries under one roof, and we heard a lot about the project. I totally agree. Yes, it is a good project, but is it to be done now? I am okay with the Parliament building idea. I agree with the fact that yes, we need a revamp. The combining all the buildings under one roof and having it linked with metro underneath, underground, all that makes a lot of sense. But why now? Can't you wait until the economy is slightly more better and you have other priorities to focus on right now?
Okay. And there are a lot of people who go ahead and say that you're going ahead and saving annually a budget that is allocated to provide offices to the ministries, some 1,000 crores of it, and the entire structural project that's going to be 800 crores and more. Sudesh Verma, you want to make a comment over here with regards to this new dawn that Prime Minister witnesses and envisages? He said the old building of the Parliament, he went ahead and said, brought about the completion of the needs of the democracy at that point of time, and this is the vision of new India, an ambitious India.
Actually, you have summed it up very well, that the kind of expenditure you incur in housing the ministers, their staff, because the activities have to go, So you need a new building, and of course, if you offset all the money spent, then you see that 971 crore is not such a huge amount considering what we spend in housing those ministers, their staff, and running the government. Because in Parliament they need to go. Most of the ministers don't get even office. That's the strange part of it, and it becomes very strange. And you see, you must understand that we have the phrase Subhas Tigram, if you want to do something, do it fast, because there is a time and cost overrun in every such project. Tomorrow, if you do, say, after 1 year, there will be a huge cost involved in that. And it's good that you do it early, so that there is a historic occasion when 75 years of country's independence would be celebrated, and parliamentarians would get a new parliament, the country will witness a new parliament, with new enthusiasm. And of course, you must understand one thing, this is very badly balanced, the population versus a number of seats in Lok Sabha. You see, now, as of now, at least 20 to 25 lakh people represent one parliamentary constituency. And if you consider it when parliament was set up or when the country became independent, the ratio was much less. So there is a huge, demand that number of seats also should be increased, because you need more representation. One parliamentarian maybe is not able to do justice to almost elect one district, So the country needs to think, because we need smaller units for better administration, isn't it? So all these things have to be seen in the context of modern India, in the context of India marching ahead. Nobody is going to destroy the whole parliament.
Okay. Yes.
Better use will be made, and that will also stay. But yes, the country would be proud when the parliament building comes. I can give you an example of Jharkhand, since I come from that place. A new assembly is there. If you go, it's a beautiful place, and all the MLAs are happy, because now it's much better. And Priya was talking about Westminster. I tell you, there is a strange phenomenon there, that only subject specialists will go there because they don't have seats. So all of them will wait outside, and if their subject is because they will go, otherwise they will wait outside. It's a strange phenomenon. You can imagine that happening in this country. If you start, it will be very difficult to control, because we don't have subject specialists here.
I think yes. I would second that. I would second that, Sudesh.
So in that context also, the need for new parliament building should be welcome, and there should be no political controversy over it. I have told you about the economics as well.
Absolutely. In fact, there were visuals on our screens with regards to, a comparison, picture-by-picture comparison that has been made of the old Parliament building and the projected one that is going to come up to completion and fruition by 2022. And if my PCR crew could run those set of templates over there. And in fact, there were poor lighting. The pavements are not done up really well. Like I said, beetle-stained and piss-smelling regions, which is heavily not conducive. What sort of a image are you going ahead and portraying if any sort of an expat that enters into the parliament, or any sort of an official meeting is happening with a private entity or a public entity, and we are going ahead and visiting one particular ministry, be the Ministry of Defence or a Commerce Ministry or anything, and for important work purposes. So an image is something that is very important to go ahead to build that sort of narrative for a very strong, robust democracy in place. And joining me on the broadcast is also Kapil Kumar, and Kapil Kumar, he's a historian, and he will go ahead and vouch for the fact that the difference between the 1910 structure that was built by Herbert Baker. There were a lot of clashes that happened back in the time by Sir Eric Lutens, and therefore the inclusion of that dome, and there was a lot of clarity visions with regards to only the dome being visible at that point of time. The structure is dilapidated, Professor Kapil Kumar, and we've seen better structures, be it the Gujarat Assembly, be it the Karnataka Assembly, Vidhan Sauda, be the Uttar Pradesh Assembly. So if something can be done at such a level in these state assemblies, and funds can be dispersed for that matter, I think a priority must be on the parliament building.
See, first you are making a very justified argument, If state assemblies were built in many states, with center grants and all, or say a Nehru Stadium was built, one could have said, oh no, you should have enlarged the National Stadium, Please, a basic commonsensical logic, if I have a house, and if the numbers in my house increase, I make a first floor, I make a second floor, I make a third floor. But there is a carrying capacity. I can't build up before more than that. So in that case, if the number in my house increases of family members, I look for a new house, I build a new house. I can't understand that. Then these fellows are not understanding. You see, it has a multiplier effect. They are only thinking of the 900 crores which will be spent on the building. Now, is this 900 crores going in the pocket of someone? You look at the multiplier effect of it. How many jobs, how many businesses, how many things coming out of it? They don't remember historically that whenever there was a famine or something, this great palace in Uday Bhavan in Jodhpur. It was built during famine times to give relief and give jobs and labor and etc. to the people over there.
Okay.
They don't look into it.
Okay.
Then thirdly, let me give you an example. Government is saying they will make them museums and all. You see, I made 4 museums in the Red Fort. I was the chief historian. Red Fort, the entry was 1,000-1,500 a day. And then after that, just before the corona, came, the entry went up to 8,000 to 7,000 a day, and on weekends it went to 15,000 a day. How much revenue it was generating? That
Okay.
kind of thing coming up, And then some people are talking it is heritage. What heritage it is? You see, first of all, the assembly was there, where the state assembly of Delhi is there.
Leave it open.
That used to be the National Council of the Viceroy. Legislative assembly at that time. And when a bigger thing came up, they built the Parliament House.
Yeah.
Okay. So now my question is, you want to remember the British legacy in this country? Only what the British did in this country? I know someone was talking with Mr. Menon or something, an architect or something. He's talking of British legacy. In independent India, do I have to care for British legacy? And then I have another last question. I'm making a point here. People are talking of economic conditions. I want to raise some questions here. What was the Indian economy in 1950s when Indian Air Force planes were used to bring the bicycles for the grandchildren by the Prime Minister? What was the Indian economy in 1950s that a Prime Minister's clothes went to stitched in London and for dry cleaning in London? Where was this economy of these people? Surjanwala saying that he is making a palace. PM is not making a palace for himself. It is you people who mooted the idea during Meera Kumar's time. You people say and shout
Okay.
that the place is less over there. And when that is being done, it is a palace.
Okay.
No,
Okay, you made your point, Kapil Kumar. Yes, let's also get in a voice from the Congress. Pallavi Sharma from the Congress is also joining me on the broadcast. Pallavi, your quick comments first of all on the new Parliament building groundbreaking ceremony that has taken place. It is a majestic structure that is going to be completed by 2022.
Please allow me to make just 3 quick points because there's a lot of audio problem at my end. So I just appreciate if there's no heckling and you'll monitor it.
No, Pallavi, go ahead. Quick 1 minute and you can please make your comments.
Common person listening to the arguments on this show today will be completely appalled at the kind of arguments that are being made. The learned historian who was speaking before me is making such bizarre arguments as to the cause, palace, the Prime Minister is doing this for the country, sir. Firstly, first and foremost, the matter is sub judice before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has categorically said there will be no construction until unless the Supreme Court passes an order to that effect. So what was the rush of laying the foundation stones today when the farmers are on the street protesting and you as Prime Minister of the country have no time and no concern to address them? You're busy laying foundation stone of a structure worth 900 crores. Why not utilize that fund and give MSP, make MSP legal and utilize that fund for the farmers?
So
Okay.
that this strike, this protest ends. You see, at the end, Parliament is not just a structure of bricks and pillars. It is the biggest symbol of democracy in a country. Of the people. It breathes about what the people think. The people choose, send their representatives so that their voices can be heard. And when those people are on the street, you're adding insult to injury by laying the foundation of such a vast project.
Okay, Pallavi.
Of your dictatorship. Point 1.2, 1 minute.
No. Let's Pallavi, let's take it point by point. Let's take it point by point. I want the BJP. I want a BJP to rebut on this, and let's come back to you again with the second point that you make. Pallavi, let's make it point by point and let.
You made all his points. You've allowed me just to make 1 point. Please just.
Pallavi, I'll just ask Sudesh Verma from the BJP to respond to your question, and then I'll come back to you again with the second rebuttal that you're going ahead and asking. Sudesh joining me on the broadcast as well. And Sudesh, what the Congress has gone ahead and said that the money that had been provided, the 100 crores, the 900 crore rupees that are being utilized to build this new structure, could have been utilized at this point of of time to aggrieve the farmers. And then she's also going to say that what the moment that has been picked by the Prime Minister to go ahead and inaugurate this and put the ground laying ceremony was not opportune at the time when the farmers are sitting on the doorsteps of the national capital. The third point, she goes ahead and says that why is it that the Prime Minister is doing this ceremony, especially when the case is sub judice in the Supreme Court?
You see, life must move on. In this country, you have one or the other agitation going on, protests going on. That should not stop other aspects, other activities of our country. And it's not that PM's time was taken 2 days back or 3 days back. If one is aware, Congress should know, because it has been in power for such a long time, that Prime Minister's time, Speaker's time, and time of other dignitaries are taken much in advance. And you see, you are saying that by 100 crore giving to farmers it will resolve the issue. Are you sure it will resolve the issue? Are they here for 100 crore rupees? Don't talk all these issues. These are all ridiculous actually. The government has acceded to all the demands of the farmers, barring scrapping the law, which is not possible. And we have said that we have accommodated. Government is always ready to talk. We cannot go against farmers. We are doing everything for the benefit of the farmers. The Congress is trying to do politics, fighting to the shoulders of farmers. Congress should not teach us, and all the activities must go on. It's not a mourning time. It's a time to celebrate democracy. And agitation also should be celebrated. It should not be politicized. And the farmers have got their right. The government has accommodated, and the government should be saluted for that.
Okay, all right. Priya, join in this debate before I let Pallavi also join in and rebut on Sudesh Sharma's comments over here. Don't you think our country, our democracy deserves a sprawling building that is going to be symbolic, that is a massive grand gesture? You've already made your points and reservations with regards to the timing of the inauguration process, the groundbreaking process. But let's also take a look at the bigger picture over here. You know, there is going to be a better accommodation of all the ministries and all the departments. That is going to save time. There is going to be greater coordination and collaboration between all these ministries. That is going to save a lot of time and energy. Then there's also points of, you know, infrastructure being extremely poor with regards to the pathways. There's ad hoc vending, poor lighting, signages, poor parkings, and then they are going ahead and building, a subway that is going to accommodate large number of walkers, the passers-by, and then they go about bringing a shuttle service that is going to be linking the parliament to every nook and cranny of the capital. Barring those points that you've mentioned, what do you make of this magnanimous project, the megalith that is going to be created?
Hang on, and magnanimous and all is all very well. I agree with the timing of it. You know, I don't think it's linked to any protest or anything. But the fact is that the timing, in terms of the economy, we are going into a minus recession, and at a time like this, to go on to a restructuring of a building that can easily wait is something I will question, and I am questioning. The second thing is 971 crore is only for the parliament building. What about for the PM's house and other stuff that is going to come up? Does the PM's house need a revamp? That itself is a legacy building. That's the second question. You know, this whole thing about revamping is not just limited to parliament and ministries. It's to a whole block of land that we have. There is an association. There is a legacy association. The BJP government may want to say Lutyens Delhi and all the rest of it, but come on, there is some heritage value also to it. So to make it all into this great underground car park with the metros and all linking and all that everybody is very excited about, I don't think is such a project. It can wait, and yes, having all the ministries under one roof is a very good idea. I'm pretty, I think that's a forward-looking plan, because right now it's all over the country. But the timing, I will come back to the PM's house. Should that be included in this whole revamp? Does it need to be included? There are a whole lot of other things also that one has to question the terms of.
So those those issues that you've raised, and the Congress has also gone ahead, and the Congress spokesperson who's on the broadcast with me has also raised, and the historian Kapil Kumar has mentioned and rebutted point by point, talking about a number of issues. But Kapil Kumar, coming back to you again, opposition continues to mount with regards to the timing. Like I said, funding is another issue. 900 crore rupees is only for only for the building. What about the Prime Minister's residence? What about the Prime Minister's office and other paraphernalia that is going to come about? That is going to be thousands of crore rupees. Yes, Kapil Kumar.
Tell me one thing. Teen Murti House was the Prime Minister's house. Huge complex. Why was it converted into Nehru's Museum then? Why was it not kept as Prime Minister's house? Can the Congress answer that?
Okay.
Why was the Parliament annexi made? Because space was less. And they are talking of the matter being sub judice in the Supreme Court. Then I have a question to them. That if the matter was sub judice in the Supreme Court of Rafale, why was there dynasty prince shouting chor chor outside in the public, for which he had to apologize? What is this double standard? And they are talking of economy today, and the band they call, this band is contributing to the GDP of the country.
Okay.
This hypocrisy, double-faced approach which these Congress people take.
Okay.
Dynastic slaves they are. Only what the dynasty does is okay.
Okay,
If
okay, all
anyone
right.
else,
Kapil
he
Kumar,
has
you've
not
made your
been
point.
building a palace for himself,
You've made your
the way
point.
Surya
You've
Narayan
made your
wanted.
point. And before I wind up this debate, Pallavi, that's a sharp rebuttal given by Kapil Kumar over here with regards to
Yeah,
all the
so
points,
this can
with
the
regards
answer
to with regards to all the points that you made with regards to the Supreme Court, the matter being sub judice in the Supreme Court, with regards to the museum that had been created after Prime Minister Nehru, the first Prime Minister of the country, took over the building, took over the Parliament. Secretariat, and that was part of his residence, and that was shifted, that was created into a museum, etc., etc. What do you have to make? Quick comment, one minute that you have.
No, I'm sorry, I do not want to make a comment. I just want to register my protest on this show as to how extremely unfair you'd be in conducting this debate. This is a 2:1 debate. I have to rebuttal to two people on this show, and you have allowed me just to make one
No,
point.
absolutely not. Absolutely not, Pallavi. Pallavi, I don't just have two people. I think you're being extremely biased when you go ahead and say that the anchor is at this point of time biased towards one particular judgment. There are facts and figures that are in place and statistics that are in place, and there are in fact four people on the debate, four panelists on the debate. You and Kapil Kumar being on Skype, and there are other two guests who are on Zoom, whom perhaps you're not able to see and hear. But anyway, go ahead. Now, if you're able
to conduct a fair debate. No, I'm sorry, I refuse to be a part of this debate. When you can't conduct a fair debate and give adequate.
All right, Pallavi, that's your prerogative if you don't want to be part of the debate. But I'll again, okay, all right. Okay, that's your prerogative if you don't want to be part of the debate, but you can't go ahead and completely accuse the anchor of going ahead and saying that somebody is being biased. And but Sudesh Verma, coming over here, remarks that you've heard from Priya Sehgal, from the Congress spokesperson, Kapil Kumar has rebutted a number of them. Quick closing comments with regards to the 2022 completion of this project and the questions that are being raised about the timing of it, about the cost that is involved in it, etc., etc.
You see, I'm in Delhi for a very, very long period of time, and I can tell you, if you go now to Sarojini Nagar, to other areas, it used to have two-story building where they used to house government employees, Now in place of that, multi-story building. If you go to AIIMS, just in front of AIIMS, you see multi-story building have come, which can accommodate many more people. It's more spacious, it's modern, so there will be less of expenses. In maintaining those buildings, it used to cost more, and also you could not accommodate people. So as population has grown, as things have become, completely different, society must respond to that. And new parliament building should also respond to the need for a vibrant democracy. You are talking about, you are thinking about how much money the government would be otherwise spending in say 2-3 years time. If you calculate, then spending this much money makes much better economic sense. And if you talk about the Prime Minister's house and all, I would expect that the Prime Minister's security should not disturb people. So for that you need a different kind of arrangement. I am sure that this is being taken into account. People would not like to be disturbed because of VIP security, isn't it? So it is all in the public domain. It is for the welfare of people.
Okay.
And Congress should not, act just for the sake of opposing it. It's not, people are not welcoming it. If you have solid reasons, please do come and tell us and guide us. You have parliamentarians there, they can also intervene and say, but something good is happening for the country, welcome with open arms.
Okay, all right. Sudesh Sharma, thank you for joining me on the broadcast, and I thank Priya Sehgal also for making her contentions over here with regards to the debate. Kapil Kumar, also thank you so much for bringing in perspectives with regards to employment that is going to come in with this 1,000 crore project and more. It's going to get completed by 2022. At last, the country is going to get a building, a symbol that is going to be pertinent to the democracy and the lively show that India goes ahead and puts across the world. It is going to be a symbol of a very vibrant constitution at the end of the day, and that's exactly has been the effort of the current administration and government in this regard. I thank all my guests for joining me on the broadcast once again.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.